Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Transport Topics webinar. My name is Kevin Ginty, and I'm the VP of Sales here at TT. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to join us. We look forward to providing helpful information and insights that you can put to use in your own business operations. That's the mission of Transport Topics and what we strive for in this informative webinar series. The title of today's webinar is Driving the Future: How ORBCOMM Innovation is Transforming Trailer Management. If you're not familiar with ORBCOMM, they've been at the forefront of supply chain innovation for over 3 decades. Named the industry leader in dry and reefer containers and trailers by Berg Insight, ORBCOMM delivers cutting-edge solutions that optimize operations, enhance visibility, and drive efficiency across the transportation sector. Our presenters today are Ron Hall, VP of Equipment and Fuel at CR England. You can move along the slide, please. Ron joined the company in 1990 as a driver manager and has held a number of positions there, primarily in operations management. Today, he's responsible for executive level purchasing strategy for tractors, trailers, refrigeration units, fuel, tires, fuel card services, and telematics, totaling approximately $750 million annually. We also have Eduardo Garasini. ORBCOMM is Vice President of Transportation Strategy and Products. Eduardo is responsible for the definition and execution of ORBCOMM's transportation business strategy and product roadmap in collaboration with engineering, sales, and marketing. Next slide, please. And today's discussion will be moderated by Aaron Huff, Chief Content Strategist at Virago Marketing. Aaron's career includes 21 years as editor for a national fleet management publication. In 2021, he joined Virago Marketing, a full-service agency that specializes in transportation and supply chain technology.
Thanks very much, Kevin, and it's great to be here, and thank you for joining us. The question, why are we talking about trailer visibility when the trucking industry is still recovering from a freight recession? The answer: capital and operating costs are rising. We want to help improve your operational efficiencies and returns on trailer assets to protect and enhance your bottom line. Today, we'll discuss how data insights can empower you to utilize trailer assets more efficiently and dispose of underutilized ones. We'll also discuss using equipment and cargo locations, ETAs, loaded and unloaded statuses to improve decision-making. Ultimately, we all want to provide more value to our customers. So we'll explain trailer visibility's role in delivering a connected supply chain that helps shippers maximize efficiency and eliminate surprises. Altogether, we'll cover 7 ways high-tech fleets like CR England are solving industry challenges and increasing profitability with modern trailer visibility solutions. First, let's start with an anonymous poll question to understand you, our audience. As you select answers to the question, what factors influence your decision to invest in trailer visibility technology? I want to ask Ron, what factors influence your decision since you have already invested in trailer visibility technology?
A number of factors were important in making the decision to implement ORBCOMM. Surprisingly to us, one of the most impactful factors was utilization of our equipment. We were expecting to see benefits from a claims standpoint. We were expecting to see benefits from a visibility standpoint. What we were surprised with is the largest ROI impact was our ability to reduce the number of trailers that we had to have active in the fleet to achieve our goals.
Yeah, good. And when the results arrive on the screen, I'm sure they will probably align with what you just said. Looks like it's pretty evenly split between ROI, cost, and product features. So that's good. Sounds like there's a lot of interest in different aspects of trailer visibility. The first challenge we want to talk about is poor visibility. It's kind of funny. I remember about 10 years ago, I was talking with the trucking company owner about trailer visibility. He wasn't interested at that time. He said, "We usually know where our trailers are." So times have changed since then. Without complete visibility, you will face numerous operational and security risks. Ron, since you've been at CR England for a long time, I'm sure you remember a time when trailer visibility was not in your fleet, or perhaps when you used early technology with limited capabilities. Can you describe some of the challenges you encountered?
Yeah, before we had visibility to our trailers, we'd have to rely on physical yard checks that were done either by a local driver or customer staff. Those were hard to get done and at best were completed just once per day. Any changes throughout the day weren't captured typically. And the net result was we were always wondering not only what our overall count was, but which trailers were actually present and available to load. Add in the difficulty of some accounts where we run mixed van and reefer fleets. There were times where we couldn't determine even if we had a necessary trailer to cover a load. With trailer visibility tools, we have the ability to do all of that now.
And Eduardo, I want to ask you, from your vantage point, you've seen the evolution of trailer visibility and how it has become essential for many companies today. Can you tell us about some of the ways fleets can use modern technology to, I think the two biggest things here are cover more loads with fewer trailers, and number two, to minimize deadhead miles?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we have seen, the ORBCOMM have been around 30 years. We have seen this, trailer visibility evolve from asset tracking, which is basically was location of the asset certain point, towards getting, truly understanding the status of the load, the cargo, protecting the cargo, and gathering information about the actual dispatch activity that was going on, collecting all this information, and then working in a platform that allows us to basically transform this into insights to help them manage exceptions, to help them, actually optimize things that Ron has said, which is, the trailer pool, the amount of trailers they have available, trailer utilization. So you truly want to utilize your assets the maximum against cargo theft as well. That's a big problem right now and growing around the world, security and cargo protection. So it's basically how we go beyond just trailer location and asset tracking towards a solution that truly integrates in their processes and helps streamline those processes to finally reduce cost and increase their profitability.
Mm-hmm. And Ron, Eduardo mentioned quite a long list of things that trailer visibility can do. Do you have some real life examples of how you're excelling in some of those areas?
Yeah, we've seen many of those benefits. Some of the examples are visibility to one-way trailer movers, and those movers who don't complete their loads on time or their moves on time, we have the ability to engage with them to find out what's going on. We've got the ability to hold customers accountable for turnover on their spot trailer pools. For customers that have spot trailers, we require 3 loads per trailer per week on those pools, and we have the ability on those unbilled trailer pools to challenge customers or reduce the pools when we're not seeing the kind of utilization that we're required to make those trailers productive. For customers who pay for their trailer pools, we also have the ability to document exactly how many trailers were at each of their locations as a source for the billing process. We also have the ability to have every account manager start their day by inventorying their geofence trailer pools, so dispatch staff can see what trailers are available to load. As those dispatchers need empty trailers to cover loads, they can actually notify drivers which specific trailer to hook for that load, and that ends up reducing empty miles that the driver used to incur from having to search for an empty.
Yeah, interestingly, you mentioned one-way trailer move. So it sounds like you have systems installed on your trailers from the manufacturer, right? You don't even put trailers into service unless they have the technology.
That's correct. We don't let a trailer leave an OEM until it has tracking capability on it, specifically for that reason.
Yeah. So the number 2 challenge we want to discuss is asset utilization. Poor visibility usually means having more trailers than you need, which can be very costly. Fortunately, this can be solved. There's no right answer for the optimal tractor-trailer ratio, whether it's 5:1, 3:1, or 2:1, but the correct data will help you justify your ratio and chart a path to savings. Ron, you touched on this briefly, but can you tell us more about your efforts to reach the optimal tractor-trailer ratio and how you use that data to make your equipment disposal and purchasing decisions?
Yeah, we use the trailer visibility data in several ways, specifically one for production. We have a tool that gives us visibility by market to trailers that have not moved in X number of days. Some operations use a 4-day threshold for that reporting. Some use a 7-day threshold. But that reporting identifies unutilized trailers that we can, for example, reposition to new account startups rather than having to purchase additional trailers. In the cases I mentioned of unpaid trailer pools, spot trailer pools at customers, we use that information to reposition out of that pool or to ask for the customer for additional freight if we're not seeing the kind of turn on those trailers that we need to justify that trailer participating in that trailer pool.
Mm-hmm. And do you use any asset instrumentation such as cargo cameras or cargo sensors that help you manage your trailer pools, and how do these functions help you with dispatching drivers and increasing asset utilization?
Yeah, although we don't use cargo cameras, we do use cargo sensors in specific accounts that require it, giving our customers visibility to whether or not those trailers are loaded or empty. And we've set up login capability for our customers to actually log into our account, see for the trailers that are assigned to their trailer pool which are loaded and which are empty. And then they have the ability to make equipment assignment decisions independent of our dispatch staff, which gives them a great way to have more control over the resources they're paying us for.
Good point. So obviously CR England is a truckload carrier, but we want to touch a little bit on the benefits of trailer visibility to LTL carriers. Eduardo, according to a recent study, 43% of trailers moved partially empty in 2023. For truckload carriers, that's not a big deal because their customers paying for the full load. But however, for LTL carriers, this could be missed revenue opportunities. Is there a use case for trailer visibility in LTL? And can you explain what that might be?
Absolutely. And like Ron said, having visibility over the cargo, it's key, not only for the final customers to have access to that information, but also for the company itself to drive those workflows and automate and streamline the internal workflows that today depend on the driver to identify the trailers are empty or not empty, the load started, haven't started, finished. All these events can be tracked to our instrumentation. And when we talk about the LTL, we have launched, in the past years, we launched the cargo camera, which is basically an evolution of the cargo sensor. It allows you to add more value on the visibility you have over the trailer by giving percentages of the load, and so you can track even when you're doing LCLs. You can track if there be any changes in the actual load status. So you don't need to just monitor empty and full. And that this is a very interesting tool for these companies doing LCL.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one thing I want to mention is some fleets I've spoken with, they use the data from these solutions to analyze the cost per mile of operating each type of trailer. So they can track non-revenue or deadhead miles on trailers versus loaded miles and look for patterns and trends and pinpoint areas where they can make improvements to use assets more efficiently. That may sound obvious, but it is pretty effective, I think. So let's take another poll. This time, please tell us, what is your top trailer challenge for your organization? The choices, as you'll see on the screen here, are poor visibility, long asset idle times, picking up the wrong trailer, inefficient asset utilization, or other. So try to pick your top trailer challenge. While the results are coming in, Ron, what would you say was your top trailer challenge, and what drove you to use trailer visibility solutions?
I would say inefficient asset utilization, and in addition, to be more specific, not only inefficient asset utilization, but identifying where those inefficient locations were, specific drop trailer pools that were not creating the kind of revenue to justify the investment, where we could then step in and make adjustments to those pools.
Yeah. And otherwise, those pools would you'd have more trailers there than you needed. And I mean, how much is a trailer these days? Like, especially a refrigerator trailer, it's got to be.
Yeah, we're near 6 figures for refrigerated trailers.
So there's just save one trailer that you don't need to purchase. There's instant savings. It looks like the audience, yeah, exactly. I think they agree with you, Ron. The top challenge is inefficient asset utilization. So we can definitely all agree on that. The third challenge we want to discuss is idle trailers. Some shippers require their carriers to keep trailers at their facilities. They may stipulate to have a certain number on hand. In other instances, you can determine what the right inventory is for your drop and hook operations. But without data insights on trailer utilization by location, you're more likely to have more trailers than required, which reduces profitability for each customer and for your overall business, and also miss opportunities for charging detention and for accessorial charges related to the unauthorized use of trailers. For example, some customers might use your trailers for temporary storage, or even allow other fleets and owner operators to use them, which I've heard of. Ron, how do you use data insights from trailer visibility to manage your trailer pools at customer locations? And I apologize, you may have already answered this question, but I think this is important enough that we'll ask it again.
Yeah, as I've said before, we expect customers who are not paying for the trailer pools to run at least 3 loads per trailer per week. We use the trailer visibility tools to verify that utilization rate's being met. We also use those visibility tools through integration to our in-house workflows to identify when a trailer has not been unloaded. And we can do that in several ways, managing the data. We then give customers advance notice on trailer detention that they have an opportunity to engage and unload the trailer. If they don't, then we ultimately charge trailer detention if the trailer's not emptied out. We also use the data from the telematics feed to charge for reefer engine hours used during the spot process. So trailers that are spotted that incur trailer detention, often if that load is a temperature controlled load, they're using additional engine hours that cost fuel. So we charge for not only trailer detention, but also for reefer engine hours during the detention event. Customers have a specific amount of free time in their contract for both of those. And once they breach that free time, we expect compensation for that.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that asset utilization was your main problem you're trying to solve, but it sounds like that is could be a cost problem. I mean, because you're absorbing those costs unless you can recoup them.
And in many cases, the customer doesn't know that that particular location is ineffective or inefficient at either loading or unloading. And our ability to charge them for both detention and reefer runtime draws attention to where they need to put resources to make their process more efficient.
Yeah, thank you. Eduardo, could you kind of elaborate more on how fleets can best utilize this technology to really capture when their assets are arriving and leaving, and identify locations where assets are spending excessive time? Because when you have trailers all over the country, you really need information to make a decision by a specific location.
Correct. Yeah, we have a number of ways to manage that, but I will definitely recommend, we have our own geofencing module within our platform. And through geofence, you can basically define what are for example, shipper yards, origin yards, customer yards, gas stations, resting areas, even high risk security areas that you also want to identify. And in combination with our own notifications engine, where customers can basically set up a set of notifications. For example, if a specific trailer arrives to one location, or when it exceeds certain time, that you will be able to charge for detention. So there are different notifications they can use, so they can actually focus on this exception, what we call exception management, which is only looking at events that are relevant for them and that allow them to take action and basically streamline specific workflows on their own operations.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how you can integrate that information with your TMS in a minute. But next, our fourth challenge is picking up the wrong trailers. Some would refer to this problem as trailer misses. When a driver is assigned a trailer, arrives to pick it up, but finds that it is unavailable. So the unit he is assigned could be unexpectedly loaded or unloaded, have a flat tire, or have other defects that make it unusable. The worst case scenario, of course, is when a driver picks up the wrong unit number, especially if that trailer is loaded. The impacts for trailer misses include wasted fuel, frustrated drivers, delayed or missed shipments, penalties and fees for being late, and of course, lost business opportunities because customers are not happy. Ron, can you tell us how you've integrated your trailer visibility data to prevent such scenarios as this by ensuring that drivers pick up the right trailers and that those trailers are ready and available to be used?
Sure. We have a number of special spec trailers in our dedicated applications. Although we're in the process of upgrading our tractor ID tools, we do get visibility of when a customer loads or a driver mistakenly hooks to a trailer with a load that either can't leave the pool or can't go into the area that it's been dispatched to. Examples of that would be a 14-foot high cube trailer that is dispatched to the East Coast. Those trailers have to stay on the West Coast due to low clearance concerns. Another example would be a trailer wrapped with a customer branded decal. That trailer needs to stay in that customer's trailer pool because of the special decaling. Another example would be, say, a flatbed that doesn't have a headache rack and gets picked up by a driver headed to load building materials. We can't have building materials on a flatbed trailer that doesn't have a rack to protect the driver in case of an accident. So in all of those examples, we need to intervene. Dispatch needs to intervene to ensure that the load doesn't get loaded onto that trailer by the customer, or that the driver doesn't load that special spec trailer with a load that doesn't suit that trailer.
Yeah, interesting. It's cool to have those checks built into your system so that you don't have unintended errors like that.
Many carriers have dispatch blocks to those kinds of scenarios, but it's only with trailer visibility tools that you can actually enforce that in the real world, that you can actually identify when it's happening outside of the dispatch system.
Yeah, to see exceptions as they happen at the point of at that very location. Eduardo, can you tell us how recent developments can ensure that drivers connect to the assigned trailers, or also immediately alert them when a trailer that is not authorized to be used is used by perhaps another carrier? And freight fraud is a big issue, of course, these days.
Yeah, absolutely. We recently launched a new solution, which is a tractor trailer pairing ID beacon. And it's a very simple solution that gets installed in the back of the tractor head, and combining two technologies, that is, BLE pairing with the actual device that is installed on the trailer, and also a proximity sensor. We can detect when it's actually hooked, and when they start moving, we pass that information as an event to either our own platform or integrating it to the customer platform, so they can compare on their dispatch, basically in the dispatch information, if the two assets are the same that they're planned to on that trip. So they can immediately take action, either calling the driver or calling the yard, and even preventing fraud.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Ron, have you implemented the tractor trailer ID yet, or is that on your to-do list?
We have a version of tractor ID that we're ready to upgrade, and we're in talks to upgrade that tractor ID tool. We're currently using it, but there are some opportunities to improve the timeliness of the data by upgrading to the latest options that ORBCOMM offers.
Okay, cool. So the fifth challenge is siloed data. You might be getting visibility from multiple trailer visibility systems. For instance, you might own and lease trailers that each have different systems installed. What you don't want to do is have to toggle between different websites for multiple systems, or to manually track maintenance schedules or use spreadsheets to create reports. Ron, I assume that all your trailer visibility data is in a central database. Can you give us some insights on how this data is integrated with other systems you use systems that automate workflows and for your operations and maintenance in other areas?
Sure. You're correct. All of our data goes into a trailer tracking database. We then integrate our internal workflows to that database. That gives us flexibility to change the ping integration without having to reprogram workflows. Say, for example, if we changed a provider or added a provider. Some of the ways that we integrate that ping data are we use the engine hour data on our reefers to schedule maintenance and track fuel use by hour. We can tell the differential fuel use by reefer manufacturer. We use the reefer monitoring data to flag and manage potential claim issues. I think that's a common use for most carriers that have trailer visibility tools. As mentioned before, we use the trailer pool data as a source document for customer billing on trailer pools, as well as detention and fuel use. And then recently, we've started using location tracking to bill back customer abuse. So this would be damage to the inside of the trailer from the loading or unloading process. And what we do there is we identify the date and time the internal damage occurred from driver inspections, identify where that trailer was at that date and time using trailer visibility tools, and then start the dialogue with that specific customer at that location for reimbursement on the damage.
So the damages you're referring to are more than just like nicks and scratches. You're talking about maybe pretty significant damage, or?
Yeah, this would be where a forklift goes through the side of the trailer, or the chute on a reefer trailer gets pulled down. This would be not typical damage. This is not wear and tear. This is actual damage to the equipment. A pallet hitting the front bulkhead on a reefer unit so hard that it damages the coil. Those are the types of damages that we're asking drivers to inspect on every touch of the trailer, that we can then flag when the inspection identifies an issue, where the trailer was at that particular time.
Yeah, thank you. And Eduardo, CR England, they're a pretty sophisticated technology company and have a lot of custom applications they develop, it sounds like. But can you explain how integrations with the commercial TMS platforms can give users the data and functions they need for these essential functions like load planning, maintenance, and other processes?
Absolutely. Our customers, they operate in an integrated ecosystem. And, the demand from real-time data, it's just expanding every day, from their own systems to improve workflows, automate workflows, and integrate with different management tools. Could be maintenance, could be dispatch, could be drivers. Towards their final customers are asking to have visibility information in real time to actually give to the final customers. The person buying in Amazon, they want to get visibility towards the whole. So the final user, it's always wanting to have this end-to-end supply chain visibility. And what we do is help our customers integrate themselves within that ecosystem through our set of integrations. So we do have active integrations with all major players at the TMS space, and also integrated with all these data aggregators that then connect our customers to a larger ecosystem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like freight visibility platforms?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So the sixth challenge is, I think, could be the biggest one to some companies, and that's cargo theft. So according to CargoNet, cargo theft increased by a record 23% last year compared to the year before, 2023. Especially concerning are fictitious pickups, where loads are taken from shippers by carriers who use false identities. These have increased by more than 1,000% in the past 2 years. Ron, several factors, including inflation, seem to be driving the increase in cargo theft. Do you have any recent experiences where trailer visibility helped CR England prevent theft or respond to and resolve incidences very quickly?
Yeah, these would be examples where the trailer was stolen, not just a portion of the cargo. But in the past, we've had one-way transporters fail to return our trailers timely on the schedule that they committed to. In one case, a transporter had our trailer for months. And we started tracking it. When it got close to where we needed it, we actually repossessed it from the carrier. We also had a situation just a couple of weeks ago where one of our trailers disappeared from an unsecured trailer pool. We tracked the tracking unit to a point where we could see the tracking unit floating down a river. Obviously, at that point, we realized it had been pulled off the trailer. At that point, we engaged local authorities and directed them to the location where the tracking unit entered the river. And they were actually not only able to recover that one trailer, but they found 3 other trailers from other carriers that had been stolen by the same individual. Several years ago, we had a reefer trailer stolen in Mexico. The trailer had been completely de-identified. So whenever it showed up in a trailer pool, we would send a partner carrier to look for it. We just couldn't find it because it was just another wide empty trailer. Ultimately, we started changing the reefer temp with our 2-way control when we saw that the reefer was running and the trailer was en route. And the party that stole it eventually abandoned it on the side of the road, we think because they thought the reefer was malfunctioning. And we were able to send a partner carrier to recover it.
Yeah, that's one way to get your trailer back, is just make it dysfunctional, right? Eduardo, the costs and risks of cargo theft go beyond the dollar value of losing a trailer and load, which can be very expensive, of course, but also you must account for things like damaging your reputation with customers and other things. Do you have a sense for what, beyond just the value of the load and cargo, what cargo theft and the risks of cargo theft, preventing those risks, can really do for carriers?
Yeah, absolutely. It goes from their insurance rates to, like you say, the relationship with the final customers, or at least identifying the responsibility over the supply chain, right? Because there's a lot of different entities touching the same product across the whole supply chain. So for them, having the visibility where and when this event happens allows them either to identify it and communicate it to authorities, communicate with the customers, insurance, and all the interested parties into solving that claim. And one large problem we have seen arise in the past years has been this micro theft casualties, where basically they will open the doors in either it will be a red side or actually at the customer sides or different places where the trailers are stopped. They will open the doors, they will take up a small part of the load, close it again, pull the seal back. And so this is easier for them than stealing the whole trailer as it happened to Ron. And it's usually non-detected until it arrives at the final customer, and then the claim goes to the transport company for not having the visibility or not finding time. So by we equip the trailers with these source sensors to identify the security events, and combining that with the right utilization of our geofencing and alerts, we can actually notify when a door opening event is happening that it's not supposed to happen in a non-authorized location, and so our customers can act immediately and either communicate to the authorities or at least identify when and where it happened, so they can then solve this claim.
Yeah, thank you. So Ron, you may not want to tip your hand to cargo thieves, but do you have anything to add about how you use the trailer visibility to identify and mitigate these risks in real time?
Yeah, before we had the ability to offer up specific trailers to drivers during the dispatch process, drivers were forced to find their own empties, and it wasn't uncommon for drivers to stage empties by placing seals on the doors. Unfortunately, knowing this, drivers would break seals on trailers where the reefer wasn't running, thinking another driver may have staged that trailer. And as you can imagine, on loaded trailers, this created a claim issue for us. Now that we have the tracking to support dispatch and giving dispatch the ability to assign specific trailers as part of the dispatch process, trailers they know are empty, we don't typically see that staging issue anymore.
So just to make sure we understand correctly, that's where you're talking about when drivers needed an empty trailer, they would just go up to a trailer, and if it had a seal on it, they would break the seal and look inside to see if it was empty?
Yeah, that was an unhealthy byproduct of us not being able to dispatch a specific trailer on each dispatch.
Yeah, now that you know the status of each trailer, that mistake doesn't happen anymore.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. So our final challenge we want to talk about is spoiled or damaged cargo. We've touched on this a little bit already, but cargo damages and claims are persistent concerns no matter what commodities you transport. But of course, the stakes are higher for temperature-controlled goods, like seafood. That may be a multi-million-dollar load, fresh seafood. Small mistakes prove very costly when settling claims, and in the long run, result in higher cargo insurance premiums. There are also risks caused by being fined by, it could be the FDA for non-compliance with food safety regulations. You could lose business from angry customers, and you could also have unplanned downtime resulting from a malfunctioning reefer unit or something. Ron, can you tell us how your integrated systems give your users and customers real-time visibility and control, most importantly, control of temperature data to ensure that you are meeting the load requirements from pickup to delivery? And also, as part of that, can you tell us how you manage exceptions to make sure that an issue doesn't become a cargo claim?
Sure. As I've mentioned before, we've integrated our trailer visibility data into internal workflows. One of those workflows is managed by the claims department. They have immediate visibility whenever the return air temp of the reefer unit varies from the set point. That would indicate a mechanical issue on the reefer or maybe a door opening. They also have visibility to fuel level as a separate alert. And then they have visibility not only to mechanical issues, but also decision issues, like when the reefer set point doesn't match the bill of lading requirements. All of those exceptions depend on trailer visibility data. As the issues come up, they have several options to solve. They can change the set point remotely if it's a decision issue. They can schedule the unit for maintenance through direct integration with our maintenance ERP, or they can contact the driver and have the driver intervene on site, or in some cases, even the customer.
So you have the ability to, in the office, make sure that the temperature set on the bill of lading matches your set temperature. But who typically sets the temperature on the trailer as the first? Is it the customer or the driver or both?
In many cases, especially with drop trailer pools, the customer sets the required temperature. But even in those cases, we do require that the driver validate that set point is accurate based on the bill of lading. The bill of lading is the contract we have with our customer for shipment of that load. And so we always, part of our internal requirement is the driver locate and circle the bill of lading temperature, and then go back out and verify that the reefer's been set at that bill of lading temperature.
And then if you, just to get more specific, if there's a problem, do you notice it before the driver leaves the yard?
On temperature set point, typically we do.
Okay.
If it's a decision issue, yes. If it's a mechanical issue, we run multiple shifts of claims monitoring. So we generally see it as soon as the return air temp varies from set point by a certain degree. Okay. It generates the exception, and then we have visibility to it.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Eduardo, to build on that, can you tell us how fleets can use cargo camera technology and other asset instrumentations to further prevent cargo claims and provide a clear record of events during the full chain of custody?
Absolutely. When, going back to the reefers where Ron has stated all the capacity it has, the way we instrument the reefers and our partnership with these main manufacturers on the market give us a privileged position to give them the technology to act upon, get immediate alarms, get real visibility over the temperatures, have two-way commands over the reefer to set up if there's a mistake or there's an event happening. So all that is done through our instrumentation, and we allow them to streamline and automatize all these workflows around the temperature setup and temperature alarms and notifications, of course, integrated with other systems. And on the dry side, through the cargo camera, we're also protecting the cargo for spoilage in the case of damage, in the case of spillovers, in the case of the actual fleets can monitor the cargo, and we can detect any changes on the cargo status, and so identify what we call this, going back to the exception management, so they can actually focus when there's actually a problem, either it's a temperature on a cargo, basically cargo integrity issue, so they can basically solve it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and a lot of what you were talking about is how to monitor, reefers to make sure there's no mechanical issues or problems that could, threaten a load. But are there other applications for trailer maintenance to like for example, integration with tire pressure monitor sensors or other types of trailer assets, whether it's tank trailers and other things that can help carriers prevent cargo claims?
Correct. And there are a lot of things that may happen, not beyond just a malfunction of the reefer. It may be that the doors are open. So by combining our sensors capacity, they can call the driver and notify that the doors are open, the temperature is dropping down, and even if the reefer is working properly, there could be damage to the cargo. At the same time, integrating things like TPMS, temperature and pressure monitoring of the tires that can also give them visibility tools and actionable insights to act when they get a notification of a tire that it's overheating, or a tire that is having low pressure, so they can prevent a larger even the safety event that can jeopardize the safety of the driver and the rest of the people on the road. So by integrating our different sensors, including fuel sensor, for example, they can calculate how many miles do they have left with the fuel, so they make sure that the cargo is refrigerated properly. And it's all about integrating these different sensors and technologies and giving insights so they can manage whenever there's an exception and an abnormality.
Okay. So this brings us to our final poll question for the day. And this question is for those who already use trailer visibility solutions. We want to find out what benefits you've seen. The choices are improved productivity, reduced costs, enhanced cargo security, and other. If there's anything else you want to add, Ron. So I know you've seen all these benefits, but I guess what stands out to you as the probably the number one benefit that you are most happy with?
I touched on this at the start of the conversation, but we were just surprised that 2/3 of the ROI was tied up in our ability to improve utilization and reduce our trailer count. Everybody, I think, recognizes the applications that will enhance dispatch visibility or reduce cargo claims, but it was really that opportunity to geofence and manage trailer counts that gave us the biggest return on investment.
Yeah. Does that square with what you see, Eduardo? Like, is that, reduced trailer counts, is that the main benefit that?
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think all these benefits end up becoming a cost reduction, right? So if you reduce the trailer count, if you increase the productivity of the assets, if you enhance the security of the cargo, all these things, they will add up to reducing your cost. And that's why we're trying to get a clear return on investment by them reducing their operational cost. I think that is a great factor because of the cost of trailers.
Yeah, and it looks like our audience agrees with both of you. Improved productivity is the main benefit for 63%, and that's closely followed by enhanced cargo security at 50%. And improved productivity is pretty synonymous with reduced costs, I think.
Yeah.
So we will have time for some questions, but first of all, I want to thank you for joining us today as we explored how ORBCOMM's intelligent trailer visibility solutions can benefit fleet operations with visibility to increase asset utilization, prevent theft and cargo damage, reduce costs, and boost customer service. So at this time, we want to answer any questions you might have about topics that were addressed or perhaps were not addressed in today's webinar. Please go to the ellipsis icon at the bottom right of your screen. This will allow you to type a question in the chat box. And it looks like we have a few that have come in already. But first of all, I want to ask Eduardo, this question is for you, it looks like. How do your trailer solutions handle dead zones? I assume this is probably talking about cellular dead zones.
Correct. Yeah, ORBCOMM's background, as some may know, comes from satellite connectivity provider. We're a large satellite connectivity provider for different industries, and transportation is not an exception. All of our products are compatible with satellite connectivity solutions that will be added onto our cellular solutions on the trailers or different assets, so they can have complete visibility and connectivity independently on the zones they are operating. This could be rural areas. It could be, countries with low coverage. Like, for example, in north of Canada, we have a lot of customers that are operating in areas where very low cellular coverage. So having this satellite backup allows them to move around the areas and optimize the cost as well of the connectivity.
Okay.
Aaron, we did a test about 10 years ago when we moved from our satellite-driven in-cab solution to a cellular-driven in-cab. And the test was designed to determine what ping latency we saw converting from satellite to cellular. Less than 0.2% had a ping latency of greater than 5 minutes. And so, and that was 10 years ago with the cellular coverage network back then. So we're pretty confident we have really solid cellular coverage now for our visibility tools.
Yeah, good point. And the second question that's come in, this looks like it's more for Ron. Yeah, exactly. It is for Ron. How long did it take for you to see ROI after deploying your solution? I'm not sure what year you want to point to, because you probably had it for several years, but yeah.
Yeah, we've had trailer visibility for over a decade, but the benefit was not only related to just being able to have visibility to the individual trailers in the provider's portal. The real benefit came after we integrated those solutions to our internal workflows. So it probably took us about 2 to 3 years after we implemented to get full integration to our internal workflows. But what's surprising is ORBCOMM's portal has evolved over the years to incorporate many of the workflow tools that we had to create ourselves directly into the portal. Many of those sort features are now available directly in the portal, especially to small fleets that don't have the ability to integrate to their back office systems.
Yeah, in fact, I remember talking to you. This must have been a decade ago when you created those workflow tools like Java stuff, right? Yeah, good stuff. So this next question is: we operate in Canada where it gets very cold. I'm sure it gets cold in other places as well, but can your devices operate in these conditions? Does that create any issue? I know, like with electrical vehicles, if it gets really cold, they have problems. But is this an issue at all for trailer visibility?
So the good stuff of our technology is that we do testing and design to to resist the hardest of environments. We have our technology. You have to imagine that it's installed in more than 1 million containers traveling in maritime environments, very harsh environments where you have the salt, sea salt, and cold temperatures, rain. The same happens as I was saying before. We have a lot of customers in the north of Canada, the northern part of Canada, where cold and remote areas are an issue for the rest of the IoT providers. So we're always the trusted choice because we can guarantee both the connectivity and the devices to operate in these very tough ecosystems.
Yeah. I guess we'll maybe have time for one more question. And this is a very timely topic, I believe. So the economy has forced us to find new ways to cut costs. It isn't easy to make new investments. What is the best way to go after the low-hanging fruit with this technology? Like what ways can you cut costs that are simple and straightforward using this technology? I guess this is for both of you. Why don't we start with you, Ron?
The first thing I would do after implementing the tracking onto each trailer, I would log into the portal and sort my trailers by time since moved. And sorting it by time since moved is going to instantly give you visibility to how long those trailers have sat, and the longest sitting trailers you can get rid of. Reduce your fleet immediately by identifying those trailers that are not being moved.
Correct. Yeah, I agree. I think monitoring those asset turns and idle times will allow you to do two things. One, you could utilize those trailers to create new business without having to acquire more equipment, or you can, get rid of those assets if they are not productive, and so you can size your fleet to the actual requirements. So you basically can do both by having visibility and immediately have an impact on your cost.
Yes. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of our program now. And I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to attend. Ron and Eduardo, it was great talking with you both. If you have additional questions or would like information, you can reach out to the ORBCOMM team using the contact info here on your screen. And if you know of someone who wanted to attend today's webinar but was unable to do so, or if you'd like to go back and review any or all of today's program, it will be available on Transport Topics webinar archive page at www.ttnews.com. Thanks again for attending, and everyone, I hope you have a great day.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Ron. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.